We should talk a little bit more about your past, because I heard what did you do before you did these mansion tours and real estate work?
So born and raised in Turkey, age of 17, moved to Texas, got a scholarship at Texas A&M. When I moved to US, couldn't speak a word of English. Like I would have to grab other Turkish kids, be like, talk to the teacher. This is what I need. Like I sucked at it. It was super lonely. Like my first 2 years in the US is like no friendships. Like I sucked at the language. And then graduated from Texas A&M at the age of 22. At the time, applied for green card because I was between the ages of 13 to 26. I was a professional windsurfer for 12 years, 7 sponsors, traveled across the around the world, over 35 countries. I was flying 200,000 miles a year.
Wow.
Another cool fact, I was sponsored by Turkish Airlines for 7 years. For 7 years straight, I flew nothing but business class.
Wow.
Everywhere around the world. And I had 200 kilos. So that's like I had 900 pounds worth of free luggage allowance for me to carry all my windsurfing gear around the world. I had the weirdest life.
That's like a dream if you're 22 years old.
Yeah. Did that get the ladies? Be like, I'm a professional windsurfer.
You know what? I was never the craziest or like the best about ladies. I feel
like you would be like the ultimate bachelor, you know? Like the most suave, sweet talking, you know?
That really evolved after like 23, 24. I really found my way in. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty easy. I just have to say the right things kind of thing. I was honestly a workaholic my whole life. Like when I was windsurfing, I was practicing 12, 14 hours a day. Like I just enjoy working. I just love improving. I love progress. I'm addicted to progress. It like progress turns me on. It's like, tell me a way to make things better. Let's talk. Like I'm excited about, I don't know what it is. It's not even like we need that much progress. But windsurfing career shaped really who I am. Work ethic is such an abusive sport. Like I'm so used to competing in like tough conditions. I always tell, now we wear shoots home. Like, what are you talking? I sit on a desk all day, talk to people. Like this is easy, like easy. So windsurfing really shaped who I am. Got me a green card. I have EB1, Extraordinary Ability Green Card. That's how I became a U.S. citizen. In fact, I'm currently in my application right now to like get my passport, like fully become a U.S. citizen.
My dad has the same thing. He's Canadian. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Extraordinary ability?
Yeah, they call it EB1.
Yeah.
So you prove the U.S. government that whatever profession you're in the top 5%. I had 3 world titles in windsurfing.
Yeah.
3 world. So that means you were the best windsurfer in the world.
In the world, yeah, for 3 years. So that really shaped who I am. And age of 21 in Texas, right after like the 2008 crisis, I saved up quite a bit of money. I bought myself a house. And it was a flip that the owners couldn't finish. It was like 85% done. And it was like it was $170,000. I spent all my savings on it. I was really frugal. I was kind of like you. And I bought this house. I was like, oh my God, I have to finish the remaining because I have no money left. And me and my dad for 40 days straight fixed up the house. It was the greatest 40 days of my life. I was like, whenever windsurfing ends, real estate is my next path. And any money I made from windsurfing, I started buying land. Any off time I had, I was at project sites, learning about real estate, talking to developers. I became addicted with it. Over the course of between 2011 to 2018, I bought over 40 pieces of land in Texas, which I still own to this day. I invested all my money in land, and I started getting involved with like people's projects, development. And at the age of 26, when I turned 26, I retired from windsurfing, and I went all in on flipping properties. Like I'm talking about construction belt on, running crews, 12 to 16 hours a day, hands-on building. Thus where my knowledge from about homes comes from. Like I learned how to sewer line an entire house. I learned how to run water lines and water heater from the city tap to water heater to distributing it to fixtures. I learned how to plumb an entire house by myself. I learned how to frame additions. I can literally, genuinely build a house from ground up. I have every skill set, wiring an entire room, running panels, troubleshooting, installing fixtures, roofing, stainless steel metal roofs, building block, laying brick. I learned it all, and that gave me it was such an humbling experience. Like imagine you're at age of 26, you were a 3-time world champion windsurfer, sponsored by Turkish Airlines, making really good money for that kind of job.
How much were you? Could you say?
I was making around like $200,000 a year, which is a lot.
That's more than I thought. That's
Jeez.
a lot.
And I quit that just so, like, literally I had this moment. I have to tell you guys this story. I took on this like huge project. This house was partially burned down. No one wanted to buy it. I was crazy enough to be like, I'll finish this. It's one of my biggest flips. I got a plumbing bit to do the sewer line and water line. It was $14,000. I was like, you're kidding, right? He's like, yeah, dude, this is my rate. I was like, okay, I know how to do all this. This is an insane project to manage. I can run the crews. Generally, I have about 8 to 12 guys at the house at a time. And I can on the side do this myself over a 2-week period, since I know how to do it. I had to do PEX lines and PVC sewer line the whole place because it was an old home. It was all cast iron. And it was a pier and beam home. So it was about 2 feet above the ground. I remember this moment. It's like 10 p.m. at night because I'm behind. So I catch up working late and I'm replacing a sewer line, and literally partial sewer was like sitting and it like leaked all over my body. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like you have money, like you're like, but when I put my mind into something, I get so dedicated. I've sewer lined the entire house myself, and it cost me $1,200 in material. I saved like $12,000 while running the crew because material cost was nothing. It was all labor.
And that's worth it then.
It was worth it, but like that kind of humbling experience. So now I go into these houses and I talk about them. It's not like I have a fluff language. I genuinely know. Like, so that gave me, like, our channel's core knowledge comes from the fact that I ate shit for like last 2 to 3 years flipping homes. I flipped, I mean, the amount of concrete I broke with a jackhammer with my own hands, it's got to be over like 20,000 square feet.
Wow.
I'm not joking. So that 3 intense years of like nonstop work and flipping homes gave me a huge upside in like knowledge and understanding flips and understanding developments. So when I came to LA, when I started touring these homes, I would meet with developers. I would make like 4 or 5 comments. They're like, who are you? How you know these things? I would come in, I'll be like right in the center of your living room. You have a 1/2 inch dip. He's like, no, I don't. I was like, put the laser up. I was like, I leveled so many homes. I was like, you have a 1/2 inch dip right there. They will put a level up. It would be like 1/2 inch to 3/4. They're like, holy crap. I'll be like, I told you. You have no idea how many foundations I corrected in Texas. So it's weird backgrounds all accumulated to this point with the YouTube channel.
Do you share that on your channel?
Never.
Why not? Let's do it on the second channel.
Eventually we'll do it on the second channel. Like it's fun to talk about it when people ask, but it just like, I don't know. I'm kind of a guy that's like, we'll just do good work and then people will recognize it. I like staying low key like that.
Where did you get that work ethic from?
I think I'm really competitive. And it's not like a competitive of like, I'm going to beat this guy. I just don't know how to stop. Like when I was flipping homes, more than half the homes I flipped, still to this day, no one has beaten those prices. Like I tell this all the time. I get appraisers call me to this day. They're like, how the hell you sold this home for this price in this neighborhood? I've hacked the whole flipping procedure. I would go find like really nice cabinetry stores and buy their open boxes, have it in the inventory. When the right flip hits, I would put $1,000 vanity on a home that's $140,000. My homes were so standalone, so good that I broke every single neighborhood record that I was in. And that just comes from the fact that I was like, I could have made money. I was like, I could make better. I can put a $500,000 home cabinetry in a $200,000 home. And I love that challenge. And I love over giving the value. Same thing with these tours. We can get away with doing less, but we can do more. And dude, people see it. The best compliment is where your work speaks for you. So this kind of stuff, it's almost like, why don't we just shut up and do good work?